Hey guys, welcome back to the Pure Goddess channel. My name is Gwenly. I hope everyone's doing well. It's been a few days since my last video and I'm just trying to keep it consistent. I don't know. The enemy is attacking at this time. Things that obviously worked in the past do not work anymore, no longer work. Gaslighting, self sabotage, a lot of mind games, emotional manipulation, witchcraft, and so the enemy is trying hard right now. I'm trying and working on keeping myself with some sanity and keeping us afloat, my son and I, as we are, we have matured, we have gone through a lot of training. Well, I have gone through a lot of training, and God has trained me and given me challenges, and I've noticed it's really hard for me to express myself at the moment, as I am. It's not that I'm starting to realize, but since I moved here, obviously I am a few minutes away from this narcissist. And so, we gotta play the game in a sense. We gotta protect ourselves. We gotta, be more vigilant and watch our backs. And I think, this would always, it's really hard to even speak right now. This would eventually happen because there is a child, in the middle, and obviously it is what it is, right? I do not believe, this is my own opinion, but I do not believe that something my father told me a few years ago when I was in the thick of it with no more, only two. You want some? Here. When I was in the thick of it, between all the witchcraft and the raising a child, my son was about a year old or some, and also trying or attempting to go to the actual courthouse to do all that child custody and all this, right? Getting full custody, because I could already foresee where this is gonna go in the type of relationship. And so I'm like, if it's the last thing I do, like, I felt like I was done. Like, I was going through so much heavy stuff. I did not have any more energy to give. Like, the protection over myself and my child was the last few ounces that I had within me to give. And the fight for me not to lose my child in any way. And that being said, like, even from my own family, like, I would not even trust to leave my child if something ever happened. I would never trust family members, like, legally. So I literally have no one, right? And at that time, I didn't have anyone either. So a lot of fear. But I knew I had to do this, full custody and get it legal, Like, I already had my son. We were 1,000 miles away. So there was just, witchcraft and, like, manipulation, financial abuse, emotional abuse, all these things, mental abuse. So I never had to deal with this individual. Every time he would visit, it was about 5 days. And it was like, oh my God, sunshine and rainbows, right? It's like, oh, my child, and this and this. Like, it's a whole show, like, behind the scenes, it was something else, right? Like, it was just 5 days or a few days, and it's like a whole deal. Here, back home, it's a whole another story full of lies and all this crap. Like, oh, like, this person took my child away and this and that, and, like, I'm the villain, I'm the bad guy, right? Which is anger and resentment, like, built up, and just hurt, and all that came the first few weeks, the first month and a half that I came here, that I moved back. All that came on top of experiencing what I had gone through as well. I knew in the back of my mind that was gonna happen, but with so many changes, it's like so much going on. Little by little, it started creeping up mentally, emotionally, physically as well. And being in the presence of this individual on a daily basis, because he is helping at the moment, made me not become, I had to, like, put a armor of protection around me and my child, and act, to try to get along, knowing how this individual works, right? It's all a show, it's all an act as well, for malintentions, ill intentions, selfish intentions, for the show that they created to gain more popularity, to gain more hearts, like, from people, more like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, this person was so bad and did this to you, and, like, oh, they're finally here, and and whatever, so an act, right? An act. And And I knew from when I got here and for like the past 2 months, there has been emotional manipulation, witchcraft, like, you know, a lot of spells being done for the greater good. And so it's just crazy. It's not, you know, it was meant to happen, because obviously if it's not now, it would happen the next few years, that I would have to attempt to co-parent in the same state as, you know, this individual. And I'm talking very generalized because I have my son here, and yeah. So so now, you know, the mask is slipping more and more each and every day. And hey, please.
Actually, I think that one, I want some.
Mateo. So, you know, the whole thing is trying to trap me in a scenario, in a situation. There was a few attempts. I saw what this individual was trying to do, and you know, like, you know, it's like you're about to get into a car crash, like a collision, right? And you see all these cars like already collided, right? Traffic jam. You're trying to prevent it, and you're swerving, trying to get away or get through, right? That's how it feels, dealing with a narcissist, a narc. And you know, at this time, this individual is playing, you know, just very like dirty games, just immaturity, on the phone, like a quick phone call, immaturity. So it's best for this person to have the minimum excuse me, amount of time with his child, because I've been seeing that there is some emotional manipulation going on, some push and pull, like victim, like I'm the victim and the other parent is the villain, right? And so there's also a language barrier, and I think for a long time it's not going to, you know, they will not attempt to learn the English language. And they I'm excuse me, I'm starting to see, you see, they don't want me to speak.
Mom.
So I've been more vocal and verbal about narcissism and this and that and what's going on, and so I know I am being watched as well, on all platforms that I'm on. And so it's funny how I speak the English language, this person speaks only Spanish, they understand English, they don't want to learn the English language, and the child speaks only English, understands some Spanish, does not speak Spanish. So the communication is already not good, right? To understand. So there's just a lot of, you know, insinuation of, oh, child, learn the Spanish language. Oh, this and that, because I don't understand. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you mean. And there's like frustration or whatever. And it's like, you know, when things like this start hitting a child, I'm not gonna tolerate it for too long. Because I went through it with an arc, right? So at this time, it's like a sticky, this is a situation we're in. Me, as being the good parent, I have to give and show, not that I need validation, but to show and proof. Even though this person spread so many things and false narratives and character assassination and, like, you know, all this stuff, making me the villain, I'm still going to show and prove that I'm trying to co-parent in the physical, like living in the same place. And then from there on, if things don't work out, right, if things are not healthy, if things become toxic, you know, if there is all this going on of games and stuff with a child, then I take matters into my own hands, right? But I at least need to show this person's family that I have tried. They know, they cover his behind all the time. They know how the brother is. They know how the son works, like who he is. So of course they're gonna cover his behind, his reputation, and just shove it under the rug, you know, like if it didn't happen, or minimize things. And that's just how the family works, right? They're well aware that I don't tolerate any bullshit. So, people are walking on eggshells. I don't see them too often at all. Just like when we got here, and for my son, we celebrated his birthday on a Sunday at Chuck E. Cheese, a week after he turned 5. And so that's where we're at, you know. You know, and God will do the rest. I need you to not be in the camera, please. So, yeah, you guys, that's where we're at. But other than that, there has been a lot of rest, you know, a lot of rest, more time with my son, you know, one-on-one, more bonding time, more closeness. He is getting bigger. So, you know, it's just interesting, because some parts of life at this time are a hot mess. You know, there is attempts, attacks, warfare. So there's that, but then there is good. There is like peace in a way. There is more rest, you know. So we are, you know, always protected. And less worry, even though we're dealing with a narcissist and his agenda, right? And so nothing is perfect at this time. It's not perfect, but it is somewhat good. And then the issues with new people coming in, you know, like obviously new change, new environment. You have issues there as well, or we have issues there as well. Neighbors and all that jazz. So the enemy is very close at this time. And you know, just being very, you know, I could tell this individual's getting tired of attempts, attacks, smearing. I don't know what, you know, making me look like the bad guy. I'm just glad and thankful and to be in a mature place where I can just brush it off. Obviously some days will be heavier than others, or more triggering, but we are keeping an arm's length at this time. And you know, there is you know, God is taking care of a lot. That's why there is some distance as well, some less time with this individual the past 2.5 weeks. Honestly, there has been a lot of things going on in this individual's life that has caused this person not to be around us so much, which is what the Lord is doing to protect us, and some, you know, karma and things like this. I don't like using that word anymore. I like, you know, using the words like vengeance or God's wrath, or, you know, God's protection. And so, you know, thankfully I can sleep in peace with some minor things at home, you know, like, it's crazy. Like, I still have, and I will forever have, it's like I feel safe, but at the same time, no. We need to close the door when we go to bed. We need to lock our door. I don't feel totally 100% safe at our home. And you know, at the end of everything, you know, the narc will have to be erased from our lives eventually. I just it needs to play out, you know. But that's just the process I'm in at this time, at this moment. You know, until the Lord tells us to move, to take a step here, this direction, that direction, wherever. And my focus with my baby at this time is just to, you know, to keep us together strong in our relationship, because that is what the enemy is trying to do as well. Trying to separate us in a way where, because I notice every single thing, every single attack or manipulation towards me or my little one. You know, some days out of nowhere, oh, I don't like you, or I want to live with this other person, other individual, or other parent. Things like this that are like mental manipulation, emotional manipulation, things that this warlock is trying to do to cause separation, you know, and that's something that I already have in the back of my mind, the back of my head, that will, you know, will try to happen, try to occur. So just like my own parents, trying to separate my child and I, or distance, or, you know, not have a good bond. That is always something I will try the hardest to work at, like, for the rest of my life, because I'm the only one that I obviously trust. I don't trust anyone else with my son's life, so so there can't be any distance, there can't be, you know, the bond has to be strong and solid, and we have to be able to trust each other in every circumstance, and that's just a walk that we have to be on, and my son has to learn as well, because his life will be a life of a chosen one, because he is a chosen child as well. And it's not easy. Of course, there will be things that I will overcome, curses that I will break, you know, generational things, and so he won't have to deal with that stuff, but there will still be other things, right, that he will take on. And that's, I think, at the end of the day, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I'm going through, that's what pushes me. God gives me that strength to not give up, because that's my most desired wish that I have. My most desired thing is to do the most and the best that I can before, you know, I leave this earth. The day I leave this earth, to leave with you know, just all the bad, all the negative, all the darkness, all the curses, everything, to just take care of that before I leave this earth, you know. Fight. Just fight. And that's the reason why I don't give up. And when I can't, when I don't have it in me anymore, the Lord gives me that strength and that willpower, and that motivation, that discipline and obedience for the love of my child and the future generations. And that is a real true love. You know, a lot of people can't do that for their own kids, for their own family, for their own blood. And I used to envy that. Families that were, yeah, well off. Families that were actually healthy families that didn't have, everyday issues, yeah, sure, but not deep stuff going on that for generations, like, they ruin your family, your bloodline, addictions and, sinful stuff. I feel like I could see more of the light now compared to before. I was more inside a dark tunnel, and now I'm out of the tunnel, and there's just like light everywhere. And that's really, really neat to see and feel and experience, in a spiritual sense. I move spiritually before I move, like, physically. And I see spiritually before I take the, like, steps forward in anything. So you can say I am calculated, but not in a, in, like, bad intention kind of way, And, I guess this individual is starting to see, because a lot of people that have done us wrong as chosen ones, they don't believe, right? They're just like, oh yeah, you talk too much, right? Oh, protection from the Lord and this and that, and why aren't they getting back at us? Why aren't they attacking back? Why aren't they doing this and that? And of course we have times where we feel resentment and anger and like, Lord, why aren't you, giving them a taste? Why aren't you bringing justice? Why aren't you doing this and that, right? Like, it's taking too long, like, we get in those moods and those in our feelings, it's like there was a lot of injustice done. This is not right. Why is it taking so long? And it's a process, and when the Lord does what he's going to do, because these enemies, these individuals that have harmed us, they are his children as well, right? And so he needs to discipline them how he chooses to, right? And it's not on our time, it's on his time. And so at this time, it is more of a belief that, yeah, she's right. He is, real time. They're seeing that there is protection, that the Lord is protecting us, and things are happening to these individuals. They do feel the wrath, and a lot of behind the scenes things that I could sense and feel, in the spirit. that of course they're not gonna mention. You know, like I am a few minutes away from this narc, and of course he's not gonna mention the shit he's going through. You know, and of course he's gonna mention the shit that supposedly I'm putting him through, or what he needs to carry, and all this stuff. Like, always playing the victim, right? And all I can see at this time is just a face of like a face of like a face of like distraught, a face of like wanting to give up, a face of like defeated, stubbornness because they don't want to stop. They're still trying to poke the bear, they're still trying to trigger, they're still trying to take me out of my peace, my comfort, you know, my mental, emotional stability. These are things that, and I could care less what people, the outsiders, think, you know, of like my everyday life. But this is the type of games that narcs play. Do you think that is okay to do that to a child's parent, especially the mother? And then the mother, they're trying to mess and rock their emotional stability, mental stability, financial stability, physical stability, like environment stability. Narc doing that, how is it gonna affect the child? So that's why I am the way I am now, very stern and no bullcrap, because of course it's still gonna affect my child, but not how they want it to, which is sick. You know, I have learned that no matter what comes out, the tears, the expressions, the words that are spoken to, they're soulless and emotionless. And those games, you know, emotional manipulation and mental, are no longer effect. They don't have an effect anymore. And I thank God for that, and I am very, very thankful to have overcome this, because it really affects and can destroy a child's childhood, heart, mindset, how they view male figures, you know, father figures, or just males. And you know, God will always fulfill our desires, our wishes, our dreams, and so I am not worried about this. Sooner than later, there will be a time where we are able to go our own way, our own path, and be more in a peaceful and safer environment and place, and truly have peace from this individual, and not have to deal with financial abuse mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and but in order, for that all to be revealed, or to be unmasked, or to be, out there, the Lord needs to bring truth and justice in that sort of way, to reveal who I am and who this individual is. So, if anyone resonates with a situation like this, this video is, for you guys not to feel so alone. We, as long as we don't give up, and we give it to God as much as we can, surrender, truly surrender, to the Most High, and surrender our children as well. God will protect them. For us not to carry that heavy load of, it's just me, it's just one of the parents protecting, like truly. And all that suffering and that betrayal and unjust for our babies, we give all that pain and suffering to the Lord, because at the end of the day, yes, we are better off without the other individual, right, in our child's life. But it all has to unfold. Our focus, our mission, our goal is to heal as much as we can within, do things like in a healthy way, not toxic, and surrendering and keeping that faith, and building patience and discipline, obedience to the Lord, living mentally, physically, emotionally healthy, having clarity, taking positive action and choices in our lives, and just most importantly, keeping that bond with our children, and keeping it strong, and teaching them as much as we can for them to see the truth in things, depending on obviously their age and everything, but just showing them how life is. And it is hard. It's very hard, and there is outbursts, there is tantrums, there is acting out, because it's not fair sometimes. A lot of the times it's not fair, right? It's injustice. And it's just healing from all this, and just taking action each and every day, not letting the enemy win, not fighting back, but fighting back through prayer, through the Bible, through building that stronger connection, bond with the Lord as well. And time will reveal, time will heal, time will, patience is so important and needed, and it's hard a lot of the time. It's so hard, but healing all that resentment, all that, like all that nastiness, all that darkness that we have within as well. It was put onto us. We were attacked. It was brought onto us. We did not have all that stuff within, but it still needs to be taken out because it was thrown to us. We were attacked. These situations happen. There is trauma. So we need to remove the stuff from our spiritual essence and like our body, and like, right now I'm starting to focus more on like physical and more being more mindful and like, like wellness and health, like eating every day, what I eat every day, and like conscious eating. And after all I've gone through for so many years in the traumas in having a child, like our bodies, we need to relearn our bodies again. And with healing, we're totally new. With healing, with our body just transforming from having babies, is just a whole new person and being. And so I'm getting to know myself, my physical self, again. And I have the patience now, and I can look in the mirror, to really not lie to myself anymore, to really be honest and love myself, and still give myself advice in a healthy way and take action upon it, because we are our best friends. We are our own best friends, and I am starting to become that best friend for myself that I've always wanted from people. But I also can see how God has shown me how he sees me. And that was, one of the most beautiful things, of course. And so I'm Moses. I'm seeing myself in this way. And, truly loving myself. And I just love it so much. It's just such a beautiful thing to have a relationship with yourself. And every day I do it for my child, every day, because he will see how truly a person, like an authentic, real person, a healthy parent is, how someone who, I want him to be as a role model as well when he gets bigger, and, things like this. So it's just a very, very interesting journey. There's no, everyone will go through their own path. Some people will go this way, some will go that way. But at the end, it's going to be the same thing. Different experiences, different ways. This happened before that happened. The other person had this happen to them, or they healed this before that. Whatever it is, right? Not everyone has children. Not everyone has an ex who's a narcissist. Different circumstances, right? But we can all relate at the end of the day. And I just truly feel like my son and God and me, like, we're just close. like so close, and I just feel the love and the unity. And I also feel the love from a community on New Breed Global Truth. There was a live last night, and I myself, I am not, Black American, African, but I am brown, I am Hispanic, but I did grow up here in the US. And the love, and the unity, and just the like-mindedness, and like, it's chosen ones, chosen beings from all walks of life, all different colors, and you know, we all have one thing in common, is we love the Lord. We have gone through a lot of similar things, and we know the truth, we speak the truth, we're authentic beings. And I just felt so much like community, unity, and I've never felt that type of like belonging ever. So even though the topic was not, like, it was, about injustice and Black history and things like this, it was a great learning experience, because a lot of information I did not know. So I'm always like open to hearing and learning things, right? And I was welcomed, and I was, taken into account. I felt special. I felt like I belonged, even though there was a lot of strangers. So it was a really cool experience, and it just I felt the love, and that was really nice to feel. And so it's a really, I don't know this person's name, but he's really motivational and inspiring. His channel, he has a few channels, and he just created a health and wellness channel, which is really cool. He's super unique and just sticks out like a sore thumb type of person, like chosen beings. Like, we're just very different. The way we do things is just so unique and different. And this channel that he just created, it's like every video is so different and unique, and it just hits all the points, right? And just the way he moves and he talks, like for me, it just makes me feel like, oh, that's one of my people, and it just inspires me, because just like how the general population inspires each other with like whatever trend thing they're doing at this time on TikTok or whatever, and they just feel like, oh my god, like, that's so cool. And this is how I feel with this person's channels. Like, it's just, no matter what type of walk in life, like, we could still relate. We're still real, truthful, authentic people. And it's just something, like a chosen being. We could just, like, something within us that we know that's a chosen one. Like, we know that's one of our people. I don't know if it's the essence or like what it is. But it just feels like it's like we connect spiritually. It's just very interesting. and you can feel the Lord. You can feel the presence of the Lord. Like you could feel, I don't know how to explain it, you guys, but you know, it's a really, I've never had a community of like people that I could count on, or you know, that I feel that I can relate to, even, you know. We're all like, I've been an outcast my whole life, bullied my whole life, like just in the dark, in the unknown. So just to even feel an ounce, and you know, like a little bit of like that, it heals so much within. So I appreciate channels like this. You know, it's truly inspiring and motivating to another level. It's not just, oh, it's just a fitness, wellness channel, you know, and talking about macros and calories and fasting. No, it's not just general. It's like deep. It's deeper than that, you know, and it's spiritual. And it's just so cool. Like, it just inspires me, and it brings me back to the days where I truly was more of a dreamer, like who I was, you know, dealing with this narc and just going through all this, you know, heavy spiritual warfare for a few years. It kind of kills that. Your life, your world becomes gray and white, black and white, just becomes like lifeless, you know, because they just take all your essence out, you know, they just drain you, your life force, you know. So I'm just very grateful and thankful for meeting people like this, even if it's online. It truly is a gift from the Most High. You know, it's not just talk about it, is be about it, like real, raw, and authentic, you know. And that's what I'm all about, you know. But yeah, you guys have a good one. We're almost at an hour. We're gonna go, my son and I will be going to the Blue Restaurant, which is Culver's here in Minnesota. We don't have one back in Oregon. Excuse me. So we'll be going there for dinner because it's already like 8 o'clock, I think. It is... Oh Lord, it's 8:40. Yeah, so we'll be going there for dinner, just for my son. And then heading back home. But yeah, you guys have a good evening. God bless everyone. The Lord is always with us. He always protects us. It's us that, you know, we have to truly believe and know that we are always protected. Thank the Lord I am able to sleep at peace at night now, even though, you know, I am a few minutes away from a narcissist. But, you know, we are always protected. And you know, it's hard when you're going through things like this and you have your little ones, and you know, you try to protect them and be there for them, and they're scared and this and that, for example. And you yourself feel that way too. That's just heartbreaking. For me, it used to be heartbreaking. Sometimes it is still. Cause but yeah. Okay, you guys take care. See you guys next time. Happy Wednesday, I think. It's been raining all day. This evening or late afternoon, it stopped, but all day was like raining a lot, which I love this weather. So I think it's gonna start raining soon again. We'll see. In about half an hour, it's going to be dark already. Alright, you guys take care. Bye.